Anger and sadness in Tianjin. Local residents of the blast site demand compensation and answers from the government, saying many of their homes were ruined by the explosion. Buy our homes back, they shout.
So far, the government hasn't given us any kind of reasonable response, and they haven't been paying attention to what we have to say. So, at the moment, we feel all over the place.
Smoke still rises from the blast site, now the centre of a major clean-up operation. There's concern that Chinese work safety rules may have been breached. Chemical facilities are required to be at least 1,000 metres away from residences. The Ruhai International Warehouse was only 500 metres from an apartment block. And this is the man who'll have some difficult questions to answer. Premier Li Keqiang visited the area on Sunday and paid his respects at a memorial before visiting a hospital. He said that anyone who acted illegally would be severely punished. 114 people have now been confirmed dead, with a further 70 missing. China's emergency services took a heavy hit. 64 of those still unaccounted for are firefighters. But this too has also raised concerns after reports that some of those first on the scene may have used water to douse the flames, something which can cause sodium cyanide to explode. With so much controversy brewing and so much pain for those affected, the investigation into one of China's deadliest industrial accidents will need to find answers fast. James Longman, BBC News.
The residents here have been demanding that the government buy back their homes. Essentially, they do not believe that the quality of the air and water in this city can any longer be assured. The police are allowing these protests to take place at the moment, but they're here keeping a very careful watch, and there are signs that the whole story is now being very sensitively managed by the Communist Party. It will have been the party, of course, that will have given approval for the chemical warehouse to be built so close to people's homes. It will have been the party who will have failed, according to these residents, to inform them that they were living close to such a dangerous facility. And it will have been the Communist Party that will have been responsible for the welfare and the training of the firemen who died in such large numbers in that dreadful series of explosions exactly 1 week ago. There will be a need to quickly apportion blame, and there are signs that that may have already begun, with state media reporting that 10 senior executives from the company have now been taken into police custody. But as always in China, questions about the responsibility for any individual incident can very quickly become questions about the legitimacy of the system as a whole.
Oh my God, look at that damage.
The scale of the devastation is breathtaking.
That's just crazy. All those containers are just piled up.
From this same vantage point a week ago, Dan Van Duren and his girlfriend Liu Ying caught the whole thing on camera.
I totally didn't expect the last explosion. It was like a nuclear bomb. That was the big one.
Could you actually feel the heat?
Oh yeah, I felt it on my eyes, on my eyeballs. It's just like it was cooking my eyes.
Chuen Li was one of the first firefighters at the scene. He was knocked unconscious, but more than 100 of his colleagues are dead or missing, including his wife, who worked as a cook on the same fire crew. We knew there was a fire, he told us, but we didn't know what was burning. Later, I saw on TV that there were 700 tons of sodium cyanide. It's an extraordinary admission. Chinese state media has been reporting that the use of water on a chemical fire may have made things worse. Better information could have saved many lives. There are claims, too, that it was corruption and lax regulation that allowed such large quantities of dangerous goods to be stored so close to people's homes. 1 week on, and the scale and extent of this disaster are still everywhere you look. This scene gives you just a glimpse of what it must have been like to have been inside one of those apartments when that extraordinary force tore through ripping these window frames from their surroundings. We're about 1 kilometre from the disaster zone here, and this is just one apartment among many dozens to have been affected in a similar way.
Local residents do not believe the promises that the air and water are safe. They want the government to buy their damaged homes. While the clean-up could take many weeks, the mistrust and anger may last much longer. John Sudworth, BBC News, Tianjin.